Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Ethan, and this is Roster United, a board game podcast coming to you with another DC Superheroes United update. There is a lot to talk about with so little time left. The campaign is only a day and 21 hours left. Obviously, the campaign ends on June 30th, I believe. Yes, June 30th. The campaign has also blown expectations, has blown our predictions. We thought it would make at least 2.5 million. It has currently raised $2,903,588. That is a lot, and it's still ramping up. Why is that? Well, the first thing you'll notice here, obviously, are the pledges. The pledges are the kind of bundles that you can get in the game, and usually at the very end of the campaign, they'll do an all-in pledge, or they will give it some awesome, intense, amped up word. And they did. The all-in pledge is called the Conqueror, which comes to $385. Oh my, that is a lot of money. But with this Conqueror pledge, you'll get all the gameplay content that has been released here on GameFound, all the content that we've talked about, with a discounted $30 to make you feel at least a little better. In the Conqueror set, you'll have everything from the starting box to the Teen Titans Go, just the Teen Titans. You'll have all of the stretch goals. You'll also include Power Girl, the Arkham Asylum Breakout expansion, the Justice Society of America expansion, Suicide Squad, Gotham City, Metropolis, Sidekicks, Campaign Decks, Team Decks, Green Lantern Corps, and I don't know if I mentioned this already, the Gotham City expansion as well. And the brand new expansion that we will be talking about right here is the War of Light expansion as well. Yes, the War of Light, the one expansion that my father has been talking about since since the earlier days of this campaign. It's finally out. I can't believe it. He was talking about it with me. Very exciting things going on there, and we will definitely take a closer look at that expansion in this episode. You'll also be getting the Conqueror Pack. What is this Conqueror Pack? The Conqueror Pack will include some bonuses here. An exclusive thing that you can only get by the pledge. You cannot add this separately to any of the other pledges. You'll get Starro. Starro is the leader of the Star Conquerors, an extraterrestrial race of starfish hellbent on conquering all life in the universe. Because, yes, how do we turn a starfish evil? He has a big, huge eye in the middle, and he wants to conquer everyone. Yeah, Anyway, it is a monstrous size, but its greatest strength lies in its ability to produce and send out smaller duplicates of itself called spores. These spores would lash themselves onto a host, subjugating them to Starro's will. It has repeatedly tried to conquer Earth and has proven to be a formidable foe even for the Justice League. So obviously trying to spread itself onto people and then basically mind controlling them, or however you want to call it. And yeah, that seems kind of terrifying. Its actual miniature is huge. It's a huge mini. Not as big as the Galactus, figure, but it's definitely a big boy. It looks really, really amazing. It really does. And if it's a big challenge for the Justice League to fight in the comic books, it's surely going to be a pretty tough battle for all of you who played the game. The pack will also... and also just before I continue here, Star Wars, yes, is in DC. No, I'm kidding. Starro's figure is about 16 centimeters tall and 15 centimeters wide. So you compare that to a normal figure, you probably have to stack about 4 of them, almost around there. to really match its height. So it's a very massive figure. Really, really neat. Another thing that you'll also get within this little small bundle, exclusively only on the Conqueror Pledge, is the Batmobile. Obviously, the Batmobile is Batman's personal, custom-built vehicle used in his fight against crime. The Batmobile has had many iterations over the time, but has always fitted with heavy armor and incorporated all manners of prototype military-grade hardware, supporting its signature wing-shaped tail fins and prominent bat motif. It has become a mainstay in Batman's crime-fighting arsenal. Obviously, the Batmobile is something iconic, something unique. If you see any of the models, I don't care if it's from the modern time or from the past, in the old comic books, it's so recognizable. I mean, everybody knows it, even if you're not that big of a know-it-all in the DC universe. I don't know everything, but I can point out to you what the Batmobile is and how it looks like. And Simon brought it here with the DC Superheroes United. You'll actually come with a figure. It comes with the legit Batmobile figure, which I think looks amazing. The figure's about 10 centimeters long and 5 centimeters wide, so it's a pretty big figure. Basically, this Batmobile will come with its own equipment card and its own special setup as well. Here's a little description of what the game says. The Batmobile is used as a supportive character, similar to those in the Metropolis and Gotham City expansions, and can be easily added to any game with its own special setup instructions. It is not controlled by any player, having its own rules for how it may be moved around and what advantages it grants. When using the Batmobile, it should start on the Batcave location or the hero's starting location. And 1 or 2 random cards are removed from the middle of the master plan deck, depending on whether Batman is in the game. Any hero in the Batmobile's location may use it to bring another hero with them when they move. If the Batmobile's location overflows, however, it is removed from the game. The Batmobile can also be used as an equipment by Batman or Robin, granting them a free move or a safe place to protect themselves from an attack. It can be recharged simply by calling the Batmobile to your location. That is how you do it right there. The Batmobile helping you not only just move yourself, but hey, you there, hop along and we'll go to this next location adjacent to us. Getting yourself around the board, but also having the downside that if the car will stay in that location whenever it moves, however that may be. But if that location overflows, that Batmobile is gone. So you have to be very cautious and make sure that you either put the Batmobile in a place where there's a lot of slots for civilians and thugs, and or just clearing them out of the way. So that's going to be very, very interesting. I definitely can't wait to play with that. Although I kind of want to play it in the hardest setup possible, just for me, to give me more of a challenge. I've noticed that the DC Superheroes United campaign, this series has definitely pushed into helping the heroes more, because the actual villains are a little stronger. They're a little tough to beat and take down. So that's going to be very interesting to use these equipments, to use these support characters, and to your advantage. That's something quite amazing. I'm not going to lie to you there. That's super, super cool. Again, the Conqueror pack only comes with the Conqueror Pledge, which will arrive on August 2025. So around next month and next year. So yeah, we have quite a bit of time to wait until all of this comes in. Just really quick before we get into some of the stretch goals that we've unlocked today, you will be receiving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 expansions 9 including the core box itself, along with the sidekicks, team decks, and campaign decks, and the, Conqueror pack as well to give it some extra juice. So that's going to be really, really amazing. Again, $385. Some of the stretch goals that we have today, I'll simply go through them a little bit quickly. Last time we talked was about Plastic Man. Next up, we unlocked Solomon Grundy, a famous villain actually from Batman, I think. I hope I'm correct about that. I believe Batman is one of the main heroes that faces him. We've also unlocked Constantine. We've also unlocked the Justice League Dark Team deck. We also unlock this villain that I'm having such a hard time pronouncing. It's Mix Mr. Mixyespilik. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm sorry about that. I've tried everything searching up how to pronounce this name, and I can't. It's just tough. It's going to take me years to figure that out. But he is a villain, trickster, and it's actually kind of interesting how he plays out. He basically changes the game. He's going to try to trick people. He's not necessarily a bad guy, but he just wants to outwit the heroes, especially Superman. So he's going to try to just screw up with you all, really. I mean, he's going to move you to different locations. He's going to change up your actions. He's going to steal actions from you. It's just all over the place. He's bouncing around doing these silly little tricks on you and trying to limit you as much as possible. So that's going to be very fun, kind of a cool little challenge to know what's going to happen. It's very unexpected with this villain. So that's going to be very, very interesting. Another cool thing, and I'm going to just read the description here so I don't miss up on anything. But another cool sort of pledge that we got, or unlock, that we got here, is called Patrol Knight. Patrol Knight is it's not a villain. There's no actual villain figure. So how do I explain this? Well, I'm just going to read it directly to you. It says here, Patrol Knight is a special module that you can play as a prelude to fighting a villain. So before you play a game, play this version first. It's a short game in which the heroes go out at night to combat the growing, city full of crime. This is indicated as the criminality track that the heroes will try to keep under control. Depending on how well or poorly they do, changes are made to the next game's setup, making life easier or harder for the villains. There's no actual villain in this game, like I mentioned before, other than the growing criminality, or the growing crime. The 12 threat cards start in a face-down deck, being constantly added to multiple locations, by which each BAM plan card, which also adds thugs and civilians all over the play area. All 9 different types of threats have BAM effects that pose various challenges to the heroes. Thugs might band together to commit street crimes, fight each other in a gang war, organize themselves in their lair, or assault civilians in their location. Civilians may be kidnapped. All of this increases the crime in the city, but if the heroes can prevent all of those threats are automatically cleared. Among other threats, a crime lord might show up, adding thugs around them and setting them on the heroes. Once the last master plan card is resolved and the night is over, players check where the crime track ended up. If it's a good spot, the heroes will get extra action tokens for the next fight against the actual villain, the real game. Otherwise, the villain will start the game with less cards in the master plan deck, putting the heroes under even more pressure. If you're not familiar with the game, the master plan deck is the main deck that a villain will have. He'll have at least 2 ways, at least 2 ways to try to win the game. The villain will try to either have his own little plot. It could be trying to fill up all locations with fill up all locations, overflow all of them. It could be KOing every character, and it's just all these crazy things. Another way the villain wins is if he bleeds through his villain deck, his villain master plan deck. So once he runs out of all cards on the deck and he can't play another one, he automatically wins the game. So obviously, depending on how well you do keeping crime low in the city before you fight the villain, well, the better your chances are. But if not, he'll start with less cards in the deck, making the game not just run quicker, but the game will also be a lot more challenging, because also when he's under pressure, meaning you've completed one of the special mission cards, there's 3 of them. If you complete one, he becomes pressured, and he will go every 2 turns, every 2 hero turns. So, yeah, man, that's crazy. So definitely trying to keep crime down is going to be something very crucial to do. Obviously, that's the main thing to do when you're playing the Patrol Night challenge. This is actually really, really cool. Well, it's not a challenge, it's a special module. Really, really neat. I do like it. I really do. I really do. Like the suspense of, just like in the movies, you're fighting crime. Batman's fighting crime. And then, a villain rises up. It could be the Joker, it could be Scarecrow, whoever. And, this city full of crime now has a huge villain, a huge leader. So trying to maintain the crime lower before a big villain shows up is typically something a lot, it's better. It's better, you don't have to worry so much about the other criminal people, thugs out there. You could focus really on the villain. And I do like the theme there and the suspense of as if it was like a movie. I do really like that. And that is, again, the Patrol Night. Another expansion, or not expansion, another, stretch goal we've gotten is the Firestorm stretch goal. This stretch goal, I believe he was in some of the CW shows. I'm trying to remember if he was in Flash, but he's the guy with the cool looking suit, and he has those fire abilities. It's really, really neat how he plays. He also has a lot of equipment cards, especially his Matrix, his Firestorm Matrix, which says energy projection. This turn you may use available hits in adjacent locations. So obviously spreading that love of hits all around is something very crucial in the game, and he can obviously do that. So that's very, very neat. Next up, we have one of the villains I'm very excited about. General Zod is actually out, one of the big bad boys that fights up against Superman. General Zod in the game wants to collect Sunstone shards to build up his fleet and basically take over the world, just like every other villain wants to do. But the way he's going to do it, well, there's actually many ways he's going to try to do that. Overflows, depending on the type of abilities and circumstances that happen throughout the game. He's going to try to collect those Sunstone shards, and you are trying to prevent as much possibilities for him to get it. So that's going to be really, really interesting. Obviously, General Zod is a very popular character, very big villain, so I'm very anxious to play up against him. He also has 2 henchmen there, Nan and Ursa as well, or Ursa, excuse me. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And those are kind of his more popular, sort of famous henchmen that he has as well. And that's just going to be really, really neat. I can't wait to play against him. His miniature looks fantastic, looks powerful, and nice beard as well. We also have the Task Force X pledge kickstart stretch goal, or not kickstart stretch goal. It's on GameFound. I keep forgetting that. Anyway, this is the Task Force X. It says here, the description, that we have already seen Amanda Waller, assemble one team of villains to do her dirty work for the Suicide Squad mode. But with so many bad guys being added to this campaign, why not have Task Force X assemble a different strike team? The Task Force X mode offers players a unique battle against 4 united villains: Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, Black Manta, and Reverse Flash. Each of the villains start in a different location, adjacent to their side of the villain dashboard. Each of those locations is one of the villains' safe zone, where they're safe from damage. These villains are no fools and will often run for cover in their safe zones. That's very interesting. The Master Plan cards each activates a different pair of villains, moving them, triggering their BAM, and adding thugs to their locations. While the other 2 villains add civilians to their locations, overflows help the villains interfere with the hero's progress, removing a token from an incomplete mission, while KOing heroes accelerates the Task Force X Master Plan, playing a card face down. Again, trying to bleed through and get through all of those cards and ending the game. Deadshot uses his uncanny marksmanship to snipe heroes across the play area. Captain Boomerang uses his signature weapon to strike a hero in the adjacent location, and then a hero in his own location. Black Manta disables heroes' equipment for one of their cards with special effects in the storyline. And Reverse Flash runs counterclockwise, hitting heroes in each location he enters. While the threats keep heroes from using location effects, once they are cleared, they actually help the heroes out. Tactical advantages give the hero an action token of their choice, while tactical positioning allows the hero to use move tokens to dislocate villains, ideally out of their safe zone. That's very interesting. The AI of the game, you could say the AI is trying to be a little bit more smarter and a little bit more harder for you all to defeat. Obviously, they all have their own sort of thing. We already have all of these characters unlocked, so with this next... God, I keep forgetting that. Stretch goals. God, thank you. Man. Anyway, with this stretch goal, it will come with its own oversized villain dashboard. It'll come with its own 12 master plan cards, its own 6 threat cards. The actual figures you will need to find within the, I believe if it's expansions and or just all of the stretch goal boxes. So that's going to be really, really cool to find out. Personally, I really do like this mode. A little different than what we're used to with, sort of the Sinister Six or the Suicide Squad mode, where we face ideally the same type of gameplay. We just face it with a different sort of challenge, having more villains there and things like that. It makes the game a lot more fun, personally. It's one of my favorite expansions to play with. But I do like that the Task Force X gameplay is a bit different. I like that it uses more villains than just 1 or 2. It uses 4. And then they have safe zones. They're getting out of there. They are doing their own sort of special, unique thing. Obviously, Reverse Flash kind of doing what a lot of speed heroes do in the game, such as Quicksilver, for example, where he every location he enters, he deals a damage or he deals a hit there. But now it's the villain doing that. Like, that is really, really neat. And I like that all of these 4 villains have their own special thing. So it's going to be fun to try to take down not only the Suicide Squad, but the Task Force X. Man, that seems super, super fun. The next stretch goal, it has not been unlocked quite just yet. The next stretch goal will be unlocked at $3,070,000. It is Dead Man. I don't know a whole lot about this guy. He's a trapeze artist who performed under the name Dead Man. Boston took to the stage in his signature, or well, it's Boston Brand, that's his name, excuse me. Boston took to the stage in his signature red costume and white corpse makeup. During one of his performances, he was murdered by a mysterious one-handed I definitely know this word. I'm just gonna assassin. We're just gonna call it like that. Yep. Anyway, he was mysteriously one-handed assassin known only as the Hook. There you go. He has then granted the powers to possess any living being by the Hindu god Rama Krishna. Dead Man would use his abilities to aid him in his quest to find his murderer. Very, very interesting story indeed. But it's going to be very interesting how he plays. The miniature looks pretty neat, actually. The cards obviously look great. It says here that Dead Man is an extremely unique hero after all. He's basically immortal. And as a part of being immortal, he can never take any damage or be forced to discard cards from his hand. The bad part about his condition is that he can only act by possessing others. This means that he can only perform actions or heroic actions in locations that any civilians or thugs, and if he ends his turn in an empty location, he is immediately KO'd. So that means he has to constantly be in places where people are at. That is pretty cool. Man, that's very neat. Well, we still haven't unlocked them yet. We have quite some ways to go, but that's definitely something we do want to check out. Now, here we go. We have one of the biggest expansions out here, introducing the lanterns of all colors of the emotional spectrum. Since the dawn of the universe, entities representing the various emotions have guided and influenced the galaxy. Anger, greed, fear, will, hope, compassion, and love. Eventually, beings learn to tap into their powers, forging lanterns and power rings to wield incredible abilities. Thus, the various Lantern Corps were created. Initially, the Green Lanterns maintained order in the universe, but as of other Lantern Corps rose, conflict was inevitable. Now, in the blackest of nights, death itself has risen to conquer all, but life also rises to meet it. The war of light begins. So obviously, you're going to have this box where all of the colors of the spectrum, or I guess, like the rainbow, you have the red, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and I think that's it. But you'll have a lot of characters representing each color. So let's take a look at a couple of them here. We have the heroes. You have Kyle Rayner. You have Saint Walker and Hal Jordan, one of the main Green Lanterns here. These guys are all heroes, the dual mode heroes or the anti-heroes, the purple characters. You have Star Sapphire and Indigo 1. I wonder who Indigo 1 is representing in color. Indigo. Anyway, we also have the villains, and I've said this for a couple of episodes now. Where is Sinestro? Finally, he came out. Sinestro is one of the villains there. You also have Black Hand, Atrocitus, and Larfleeze. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And these are 4 villains, again, representing their own color. So that's going to be very interesting how that's going to play out. It says here the lantern rings and colored symbols. Just a little description about it. The members of the various Lantern Corps all wield lantern rings to challenge their potential emotions in order to create an almost limitless range of effects. Each hero in this set has their own lantern ring equipment card, which works in different ways in conjunction with their own decks and other heroes. Many of their hero cards display one of the action symbols at the bottom as a colored symbol, whether green, blue, indigo, or violet. While these work as normal action symbols, they also have a special interaction with some lantern rings or other cards. Even more than usual, cooperation is key for the various Lantern Corps to take full advantage of their powers. That's actually really neat because, for example, here for St. Walker, the card at the bottom symbol there, you have the heroic symbol, which is a star. It is usually the color yellow, but now the entire symbol is blue. Or for the Star Sapphire, the move is like an arrow, and it's usually green, but now it's violet. Like, that's really, really neat. I can't believe how much they're adding to this game, and it just looks so, so cool. The different ways every character plays is obviously something quite spectacular. One of the big, kind of the main heroes, I think it's white. He's white, so he absorbs all the colors. Again, his name is Kyle Rayner. He's chosen for his exceptional ability to conquer fear. Kyle became a Green Lantern, but his tenure was short-lived. 6 other Power Rings would deem him as the rightful barrier, while he still served as a Green Lantern. Seeking answers to this strange phenomenon, he traveled to Oa. Oa. Okay, yeah, I got that right. Okay. Sorry, the font was a little confusing there. This would lead him to direct conflict with the Guardians, causing the 7 rings to bond with him, allowing him to harness the power of the entire emotional spectrum, becoming the White Lantern. So obviously, this guy is going to be absolutely powerful. I no doubt about that. A little bit more of a description here. It says here, once a Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner has become a White Lantern, an avatar of life wielding the powers of the full emotional spectrum. This means his cards feature symbols of all colors, allowing any of the other Lantern heroes to benefit from his played cards. It also means he can benefit from the colored symbols of any Lantern hero that plays before him, performing them when he plays one of his Spectrum Dominance cards. Imbued with pure life energy, the White Lantern simply can't be removed from the game against his will, and any hero who recovers from being KO'd next to him comes back with an extra card. The White Lantern ring Kyle wields beams with life energy, allowing a hero to draw an extra card. This ring can be recharged by playing a hero card with a single heroic action. My goodness gracious, that is absolutely fantastic. I want to play with this character so badly. Really cool as well, again, how they're going to be distributing the power of the rings and how that's going to affect not only yourself, but also your heroes. And, of course, it might even affect the villains, who knows, in a positive way or in a way that will hopefully hurt them, right? So that's going to be very interesting how you're going to try to play that out. This box looks just amazing. Really neat artwork in the front. Obviously, all of the beautiful colors there. And the great characters. You have 9 characters total. 5 of them being playable, because 2 of them are the indigo ones, right? Or 2 of them are the dual mode characters. So you have 5 heroes per se, and or up to 6 villains that you can play with just this one box. Comes with its own 4 set of locations. It also comes with a new team deck. The new Guardians team deck there, and the 4 equipment cards, each representing its own color ring. That is how you bring an expansion into this game. I really, really like this expansion. It also says that it is sort of, it sort of makes sense to combine this expansion with the Green Lantern Corps box, the hero pack, the hero box there. So definitely trying to combine those Green Lanterns with the War of the Light expansion. That's just going to be so much fun. The Green Lanterns, the Lanterns are definitely going to be one of the biggest things in the game. Maybe not the biggest names out there, but I do know that the lanterns just themselves, their gameplay, all of it, and the ability of the rings and, how you have to plan things out is definitely going to be something huge, something I'm definitely looking forward to. And it depends if you're going to get the all-in pledge or not, but if you're not going to get the all-in pledge, you're just going to get the, Super Friends pledge, which is a $65 pledge that comes with the core box, the exclusive Wonder Twins and Gleek, and all unlocked stretch goals, which is still a lot of content there. I would even add the War of Light and even add the Green Lantern Corps as well. And you're only adding $70 with those two boxes, but those two boxes itself contains so much content that is quite amazing. I do think, though, that will be the biggest thing coming out of this, again, is the lanterns. You can mark that down, and then when the game, I'm gonna try to remember this the best I possibly can. But a year from now, mark my words, a year from now, I will do a forum on Board Game Geek, and I will tell people what was the biggest thing they've liked about the game. I promise you that the majority percentage of people that respond will say that it's the Green Lanterns. It's just so cool. Obviously, a lot of these expansions, such as the Suicide Squad, the Arkham Asylum Breakout, like those are expansions that everyone is going to play and like a lot, especially against their villains and popular heroes. But the War of Light is, I think, going to be underrated. I think that's something that maybe not a lot of people will play out of the blue, but once they do, once it's time for to be up at bat, I do think it'll take a big swing and even hit a home run there in the hearts of many people, myself included. I'm very, very excited about that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for today's update. It was a pretty long episode there. I'm sorry it was just me today. By the time of this recording, it's actually really late. It's a really early. I guess you could say it's 12:33 in the morning. So yeah, very, very late. This is what life comes to. Anyway, Gen Con is right around the corner. We have talked through a lot of games, but later today, I guess you could say, not only will we be doing another campaign update, but we will also be talking about some more Gen Con board games that will be releasing, some of my favorite hits, some of the things I want and I'm looking forward to, especially myself. Like, these are personal, takes of mine, my personal opinions that I think, that I know is going to be at Gen Con, but, I think will be big. I know it's big, but I personally want it, so it's a little bit more personal. So I can't wait for that and to share that information with you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We talked through a lot of updates and stretch goals and everything. Again, you still have time. You still have about a day and 20 hours left since the recording. So you still got time to decide if this campaign is the right campaign for you. Again, I think this game is great. It's simple. It's fun. It's one of those games that doesn't take too much time to set up. And it's just hard to put down, really. I mean, there was a streak there where I would play this game 5-6 times a day, and it was just amazing to talk through and everything like that. Obviously, this show is based on my love and appreciation of the game, so if you want more proof onto what I think about the game, there it is. You're listening to it right now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, again, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope to continue providing more information about the campaign and about Gen Con that is literally right around the corner. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic morning, evening, and good night however you're listening to this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the podcast so you don't miss out on any new updates, news, episodes, all of that fun, good stuff. And with that, I'll see you all on the next one. Take care.